Hello there, this is Cookies, and today I've got turn 14 for you. So let's go ahead and dive in. So we got a few messages this time. We got one from Hinnom. Hi, I'm working very hard against my instincts to not be the first one to start a war. Luckily, my plan is pretty greedy. Gonna hit Blood 4 in 2 turns, and then fix my death scales on the cap by casting Blood Fecundity. Ah, very cool. Okay. Rephites are wreaking havoc on my unrest, but if nobody invades me, I'm going to test them against these big thrones soon. And going to tech up to some fighting spells next with Alt 3, Evo 2, and stuff. Cheers, Stonetroll. Looking forward to seeing that. And then we got a message from Xibalba. Oh my god, I found the grayscale site. I hope I live now. And another one, Air Death Glamour random. Air Death Glamour. It's like a Wailing Winds caster out of the box. Will I get to play with them before I die? I don't know. Ah, alright, so we didn't get a message from TNG gloating about his discount sites, but let's go ahead and take a look. Alright, so first off, let's see, has he built? He has not built a lab there. But he should soon. I think these troops are coming down here to secure this. Do we have any player combat? We do a little bit. So maybe we should take a look at the fights really quick. Yeah, let's do that. Alright, so Marverni, we've got the Triumvirate expanding on their own against Pale Ones. Should be very easy for them. Oh, if I click on them. Yeah, they've got the Fear 5. Alright. In Uric Belcor, got another, we've got a ping by Marverni. You'll see Sauromatian PD. Okay. In Searing Sands, we've got some barbarians going up against the very slowly dwindling number of Baraton spearmen. Okay. They lose 9 more of them. In Smotherdark, we've got the lion expanding against a bunch of trogs. Should be pretty easy for the lion. Trogs can't trample it, so all you're looking out for are their double claw attacks, which do hit hard enough to punch through the lion's invulnerability, but not so hard that maybe Regen can't keep up and the lion's going to be killing them back pretty fast. The lion also has fear and regen. There we go. Cool. In Valgoth, we've got Hinnom attacking a large number of deer tribe. There we go. Might lose a couple of allies just from the sheer volume of arrow fire. It's a lot of deer tribe. They've got a free line forcing their routing brothers to stand in front of them and die. But we do get the general route. Let's see if anyone... Yeah, Hinnom loses 4. And then with they're attacking some independents here, taking on some cavemen. Longbows reach just far enough that the formation holds. Routs one squad. Routs the other squad. Might have only lost one or two. Let me see. 3? Okay. I didn't expect that many. Fomoria. We got that mixed party again. Should do fine. I'm not expecting any attrition. Elf might have gotten hit by a lance there. If so, that'd be somewhat unlucky. Oh. Alright, let's see. Yeah, no casualties. And then we've got Ulm attacking Large numbers of Veti. We've got some Steel Maidens now out in front and a couple more batches of archers. Again, it's just PD. Alright. So loses 4 Steel Maidens, 1 Veti. Does take out the PD. So this looks like player combat, which is what Ballin's been saying. Next up, we've got Lanka. And a large number of horse tribe. Okay. And then we've got Hinnom attacking World's Teeth Mountains. Or pinging a throne. Okay. We've got a Great Mother here with a... Are these both? We have False Fetters, which is interesting. Then we've got a Pixie Spear, which can fatigue. So a small anti-SC kit, which could be interesting for this throne. Then we have the Nature 3 Ivy King. And a couple of Lion Tribe. One of them empowered in Earth. But otherwise, the throne doesn't look too bad. The Vine Ogres have a lot of HP. But their fists are not armor piercing. Like animated trees often get. Wonder. Yeah, so these root attacks are armor piercing. So they don't get the armor piercing strikes. 16 will do chip damage on most medium to heavy infantry. But, so that they will kill generic scales troops. But they're gonna, I think they'll generally trade pretty poorly. They do have a little bit of protection. They have okay attack skill. But against a player who gets to prepare and know that Vine Ogres are coming, it's not a very serious threat. Cool. Then we've got Strength of Gaia, group regen. Oh, and then the fight ends. Okay. So, all right. So back to what we were kind of doing. So first off, we have Ulm attacking This very much looks like player war activity. Did not try to take the wasteland, which I would have expected. Maybe was worried about these Enkidu bumping. This might be a negotiated border. I think this is going to be real tough for Ulm. There's a fairly large force here in the capital. They've got their Masushu, who I think will rout Ulmish troops. Even if the Ulmish troops kill one or two of them. Yeah. I think it's going to be tough. But we see more troops happening. Now it has 130 here, 50 here. He's building a fort in a safer location that would require going all the way around the lake due to the TNG border. So that's smart. And he's still getting a lot of foreign recruit, it looks like. So if the foreign recruit train meets up in the capital, you know, just kind of like gradually improving the cap's numbers, I think we could see some pretty cool stuff coming out of Ulm. One thing that I don't think we've seen are the sacreds. So steel warriors. And they have a 25 damage greatsword, which I would think would be pretty good against Let's see if the prophet was here. What's the bless? Oh, yeah, right. It's precision +5. So it's not really a steel warrior bless. They might be too expensive then to want to train. 28 gold. All right, so you can get 2 steel maidens with 4 attacks versus 1 steel warrior with 1 attack. Okay, so I see the reasoning there. I still think it's going to be tough, though. He has 2 more turns on the mercs. So I think he might send this main party here to Iron Range. But another alternative is he branches out, so he goes for Ashlands and Stonegrave and kind of avoids taking a fight, but then he's going to have to rebid the Veti Mercs. Or he might send the Veti Mercs alone to see Ur's response, and then he raids out to the sides. But Lanka's down here. Okay. So we've got some interesting developments there. Let's go see the site that Xibalba was excited about. It's this Gray Shade Forest. So Air Death Glamour with another random. I think for the most useful ones, you want the Death random, because getting up to Death 3 or Death 4 for doing Wailing Winds and Winds of Death, I think it's easiest to start with a Death 2. But the other ones are still useful. Glamour 2 and Air 2 are still very useful mages. It does suck a little that it's in his cap circle as opposed to maybe over here. But I think he'll definitely take it. In terms of the national roster, there's no sort of there. He does have D2A1 randoms, so he doesn't entirely need, but it doesn't look like he's got glamour, so the glamour will be new. So adding Wailing Winds to Winds of Death will be nice. All right, and then let's see. So we've covered this war. I'm still waiting for Helheim to elf someone. And I'm not seeing a lot of elvish troops. So I think he is intending to elf someone. It's mostly a question of who. I think the most likely candidates are... Well, I think he has a lot of choices, actually. He could go for TNG, could go for Lanka. Could go... I think Berytos is less likely. It feels a little bit diagonal. But I could see Ulm also being a choice. Ulm's just a bit too small, I feel like, right now. Another option is he could go for some thrones, but he hasn't been pinging them. So I do think he intends to play our war. And we've got Mekone down here. It's a large army in a wasteland. So I think that army might be heading to this throne. And this is a very strategic location with, what, 8 connections? So controlling this, and then with this mountain range here, it kind of, you know, and granted, these two both have heat scale, so this mountain range is a pretty normal connection. But being able to dominate this whole sort of area would be very strong. All right. And I do think will turn around. I think was intending to fight Tianchi, but now they're not going to be able to. This is way too many troops to kill Indies with. Unless he thought it was, you know, had scouting reports that it was like 60 cavemen. Then I could see a force this big. Let's see. Fomoria is actually starting to look decent. We've got 3, 6, 9, 12. Wait. 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14. Might actually get 15 here if he takes this. And there are still some indie provinces down here, but they probably won't be by the time he gets there. And then if he got some... it looks like Marverni is going to take Mercs. But if he was able to get one of these two, that would be a pretty great pull too. So a little bit of a rough start, but he seems to be recovering nicely. And then Hinnom. This would be a pretty big pull for Hinnom. You get Crystal Mages. The Earth 2 isn't a really big deal, but Earth 2, Glamour 2 breaks you into high Glamour. So you can make both boosters, you know, once you maybe empower one of the mages in Glamour. It breaks you into high Glamour. You can do all the Glamour buffs. You can do, you know, if you want to do big Earth spells, you've also got that. But I mean, you've got Earth Ami, but they're randoms. So getting consistent Earth 2 can be really nice. You can do Illusory Army. You can do different Glamour items. I don't know. Like, I know a lot of people shit on this mage, but I kind of like it. Especially if it opens up a whole new path. But let's see. Yeah, so that was a Hinnom scout. Sauromatia is scattered everywhere. I think he's site searching. He's got a fort coming up here. Lanka did come into Star Peaks. He's going to see Indies here, so I think he's going to try to keep going around this lake. I definitely don't want to hear him complain about his expansion anymore. Let's see, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, he's got 15 with the potential for more. And he'd probably win any bumps with Sauromatia and Marverni, and Berytos for that matter. So if he's quick about it, he could get another 5 and be one of the bigger players. Now, if he gets elfed by Helheim, he's going to be very out of position. But there's no guarantee Helheim elfs him, or maybe goes for TNG instead. But yeah, I think Sauromatia is in a pretty good position. They can probably consolidate for a few turns. I don't think they have to fight a war right away. Yeah, 9, 12, 15, 18, 19. Yeah, they had great expansion. Took some attrition, but I think if they consolidate and maybe they look at the thrones, they'll be in a pretty good spot. Iron Throne sitting on an Inkpot end is disappointing. Actually can't really get up here to the Throne of the First Age. It's cut off a bit by Helheim and Lanka in this river. But could potentially come down here for the Crystal Throne as well and pick up that great silver mine. I think the most likely candidate is this Iron Throne, though. Now, E2, S2 on Sauromatia, I think is a big pickup. Yeah, they wouldn't have either of those paths. So that would be huge. Breaking into, well, wait a second, they've got Astral. I'm pretty sure. I think I just missed it. Yeah. Oh, I guess they've got Astral 1, which is definitely not the same thing as Astral 2. So yeah, I think this would be a strong pickup. You'd want to evacuate the mages quickly because of the Inkpot end. But yeah, it looks like he's getting a little bit of site searching in. We see this market here. Grove of Fertility, Labyrinth of Skulls. So yeah, I think Sauromatia can take some time to consolidate. Hinnom, I think, could go for a throne. I mean, they've got a fair amount of land. They come all the way down to here. They have a little bit of an awkward border with Fomoria, where this is 3 away, but it's 2 away from Hinnom. Well, they are about to pick up Witch Haven as well. They could potentially get the Throne of Fortune, which would be huge for them. Well, maybe not huge, but it would reduce it to Misfortune 1, which I think is a big deal. And then you've got the Throne of Death over here, which you might be okay claiming. 5 Death Gems on Hinnom with their unique Long Dead would be pretty strong. I'm not seeing a lot of site searching just yet. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the graphs. So Berytos is out in front. Then we've got Mekone and Sauromatia. Yeah. Lanka and Helheim, Tianchi. All right. For forts, we have Marverni and Berytos. Income, Berytos is way out in front. Their greed is actually paying off a little bit at this point. Now, they've been pouring it all into infrastructure, so I'm not convinced they can defend themselves. But they definitely have a huge income lead. Gem income. It looks like I would call Marverni first because they've got kind of better curve right now. Xibalba started doing a little bit of blood hunting. In research, we've got Fomoria, Lanka, Tianchi. So Fomoria is showing off some great research. And now the expansion is starting to catch up to it. They could recover very nicely, in fact. Lanka also surprisingly good research, but they haven't started blood hunting either. So there's a trade-off there. And then TNG is starting to crank mages too. For army size, we've got So Ulm, who has the second largest army, has picked a fight with who has the biggest army. It's not a matchup I'm very familiar with, but I feel like big Enkidu with shields probably trump unarmored humans, even if they hit really hard, but I am curious to see how the matchup works. And then we've got Mekone, Sauromatia, Xibalba, TNG. We've got a very tight band here. The only ones without as much army are Hinnom, which is honestly probably exacerbated a little bit because their units are bigger. So they should be higher on the graph than they are. But I haven't seen the national long dead undead spam from Hinnom or the early site searching to support it in terms of getting numbers up. We've also got Marverni, who, yeah, could definitely have more troops. They might be focusing on forts because it looks like they just cut up to Berytos on forts. So I think they're spending all their money on infrastructure. So given enough time, they'll rapidly catch up in army. But right now they're looking somewhat weak. And you've got Fomoria, who just took a lot of attrition and expansion, but should be able to recover that. So let's see. I don't think Berytos will want to fight Marverni. I think Berytos just wants to consolidate. Sauromatia might just want to consolidate, so Marverni might get away with being a little greedy on the fort constructions. So he's got this one, he's got this one, so 3 at the moment. And then I'm curious what he'll do or fight. He is kind of thin. So I still think it would be a good move for Marverni to maybe make a coalition with someone else. Like ideally it would have been with Ulm to attack Berytos and try to do a Berytos split. But it could also work with Mekone to do a Sauromatia split, and that would let them spread out a little bit. And then yeah, and then we've got Fomoria. Hinnom though. Would like to see some of the site searching and would like to see some of the national long dead. But the Rephites should be pretty strong. We can take a look at their bless again. It's morale +1, so it hasn't woken up. So I think Hinnom's going to wait. If it hasn't woken up, then it's imprisoned. Oh, Stonetroll, you meme man. Morale +1 with these scales? What imprisoned nonsense did you take? What? Oh gosh. Yeah, so he's just teching up. He's waiting. He's waiting for his bless to come online. And it's probably going to be a huge bless if he gets left alone. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, and he is making Rephites, so he's trying to stash them up a bit too. He did get a wasteland and expansion, so you can park everything right next to his capital, which is handy. He does border 3 thrones. Vampires could be bad. Especially it can be hard to protect the Hinnom priests unless you bring Mel carts. But Throne of Death would be good. I think he'll probably go for this one first, and then if he's feeling confident, he'll go for this one. But yeah, very curious. But yeah, still not a lot of action. We've got the beginnings of some entertainment between Ulm and My feeling is is still favored, but I look forward to having Ballin prove me wrong. And I will see you in turn 15. Have a good one, everyone. Bye.